Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 61 of Daisy Knits. I'm Daisy and we're in a different location today. We're down in my basement. My kids are running amok upstairs and they're cleaning and prepping for a friend. So I thought I'd sneak down here real quick and get my episode in for the week. So last week I showed you a shawl and a sock that I was working on. The shawl has not been touched. I'm not there yet. Emotionally, I'm not ready to talk to it, so I haven't. However, the sock is finished. Yes, I only did one. I didn't do two. It's a Booth sample, and as you can see, it's finished. I'll even show you the pattern. I am going to push this pattern live by Monday. So here's a little bit of lace, a little bit of cabling following down, and I have to say I'm really loving this pattern. It will be alive on Ravelry. It has a Dutch heel, and I do my heels with my heel flaps with garter stitch. I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of patterns do that. I personally prefer that. I feel like it gives me a little bit of extra squish give, but that's my preference. And I do a standard toe. So this is the sock. It will be live by Monday, and you guys get to be the first ones to see it publicly. So Blooming with Friends, that's the name of that pattern, Blooming with Friends. So I finished that, I don't know, maybe Saturday, Sunday, and I needed some brain candy knitting. So I went in my stash and I dug around, and I found this skein from Fiber Addiction. And the colorway is Hoodies and Hot Cider. It's an MCN blend, 70-20-10. MCN means Merino Cashmere Nylon. 400 yards. So I pulled this out, and I have to say I have had so much fun watching all these little blips pop up. There's blues and like a gray and lighter shades of blue, little blips of pink, and then big blips of pink, and just a wonderful shot of orange. I love it. I'll show you how it's knitting up too. So here you go. So you get those little blips of orange and pink and bold blues and little blues. It's been a lot of fun. And I am doing just a vanilla sock to let the yarn sing. It's MCN. Feels phenomenal. And at 20% cashmere, yes. So I did drop down, and I'm doing these on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. These are my Royales that I'm working on. Because of the cashmere content, it's probably going to try to pill. I've had the hardest time saying that. It's going to probably try to pill a little bit, so I dropped down a needle size to help with that, to help compensate that. So that's really all I've been knitting on right now as far as my enjoyment knitting. I did do a master knitter swatch. Last week I told you about cable flaring and the effects of cable flaring, how it pulls in. I think I told you about that. Maybe I just dreamed it, but I actually worked it. So what I did with this pattern is it's got seed stitch at the bottom. I have some reverse stockinette in between and cables. And it's just over 7 inches tall with more seed stitch at the top. But if you look, let's see if I can do this because I haven't washed or blocked this yet, but if you look, you have a lovely hourglass shape on both sides. That's from this cable pulling the fabric in. There's no compensation. And by compensation, we mean adding extra stitches before you start the cable and taking those extra stitches away when you bind off or when you finish cabling. That's how you counter this flaring that's happening. So if you try to block this out, you will actually distort your cables and you'll just make them not look so pretty. So you really don't want to like block it with an inch of its life because you lose that texture that your cables are giving. So this is a great swatch of why compensation needs to happen. I really probably took longer than I should have. I think it took me about 3 days of knitting time to do this little bitty swatch because I wanted to make sure I got my gauge right, and I wanted to make sure I was paying attention to my stitches. I have a very bad habit of not tightening my purls, So my pearls will be larger than my knits, and I can tell the difference on that. If you look back here, that first stitch is a little bit bigger than the rest of the stitches in that row. So I can tell the difference. I'm sure that they will be able to see the difference as well. But I'm happy with this swatch. So I worked it and I'm happy with it. So that is my Master Knitter swatch that I've done for the week. I do need to sit down and read and figure out what I'm doing next. It's more cabling. I have, I think, maybe 2 more cable swatches to do. I think I have 2 more. So I'll work on those. But I'm super happy with how that's come out. The dye pot, I've got a few things drying, but not anything to share with y'all today. I looked, and 2 weeks from today, we will be at Disney, prepping for the Disney retreat. 2 weeks. It's almost here, people. So, if you are interested or in the area, you should check it out. I do know there's a free market, so you guys can come on over and see everything if you're in the area. If not, maybe next time. I understand. It'll be good. But that's kind of what's going on in my little world. They're calling for ice. Like in real life, they're calling for some ice Armageddon this weekend. And if that happens, I should have lots of time at home, which will be lovely. And we'll see what happens. But I don't have a lot more to share with you, and I don't want to start rambling. So I hope that you all have a great day. I will see you next week. And may all your knitting go great. See ya.